As of writing the script for this video, I've ridden 100 roller coasters. The first 16 of them happen to be from an era from before I became a roller coaster enthusiast. In this video, I will be ranking those 16 roller coasters. Not all of those roller coasters are in Minnesota, nor are all of Minnesota's coasters in this ranking. Without anything more to say, let's get into the ranking. In last place is Mad Mouse at Valley Fair. This ride is just above average for a wild mouse. It has the standard strong laterals and even a couple good airtime pops, but the other half of this ride does nothing. Taking 15th place is Pepsi Orange Streak at Nickelodeon Universe in the Mall of America. This ride doesn't have any amazing forces, but it does provide a great long tour of the park. I love that this ride goes through the log flume ride. This ride has everything a roller coaster needs except forces. Up next is Corkscrew at Valley Fair. This ride may be a classic, but it hasn't aged very well. The moments that are supposed to give airtime provide very weak floater. Despite that, the inversions are pretty fun, and the helix is actually intense. Some elements are okay, others are good, so this ride is just painfully average for an era looper. In the 13th spot is Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts at Universal Studios Florida. This ride has a great story around it with amazing visual effects. There aren't many roller coaster portions on this ride, but it doesn't take me out of the experience because it does have cool elements like a tilt track and a backwards launch. I'm not a fan of Harry Potter, but I found the experience with the effects and elements to be quite enjoyable. Taking the 12th spot is High Roller at Valley Fair. This ride has airtime hills of all strengths. The first one doesn't have an ounce of airtime. All of them between the first and second turns provide decent floater, and the final one is another ejector death hill. There's nothing to say about the turns or the drop because they're pretty standard. Aside from that final hill, there's nothing special to note about this classic roller coaster. In 11th place is Space Mountain at Magic Kingdom. This ride shouldn't be as good as it actually is. It's not very tall, and it doesn't even go 30 miles an hour, but it defies the odds and provides very strong laterals and even a couple ejector pops. It also feels fast with the pitch black surroundings. This ride is another ride that proves stats aren't everything. Entering the top 10 is Rock Bottom Plunge at Nickelodeon Universe in the Mall of America. I used to think that this roller coaster was the best in the park, but it's fallen quite a bit since. The first half is still great with plenty of hang time, positives, and even a touch of airtime. The second half is where this ride suffers. I'm sure it would be so much better with the trims turned off, but that wasn't the case whenever I rode it. Taking the 9th spot is Fairly Odd Coaster at Nickelodeon Universe in the Mall of America. This ride takes a boring layout and turns it into something kind of crazy, if the weight isn't distributed evenly. Even with a balanced train, I've had some decent spinning. There's just not much else to say here. Speaking of roller coasters that fell off, Wild Thing at Valley Fair is taking 8th place. It's the exact same story with Rock Bottom Plunge. The first half is great, and the second half would be as well if the trims were turned off. There is still that boring high turn in the first half that can't be fixed, but the first half is filled with great elements like the airtime hill and helix right before the mid-course. If Valley Fair could turn off the trims, this ride would be in my top 25 again. Taking 7th place is Excalibur at Valley Fair. All I can say is that this ride is short but sweet. Even though the drop is trimmed, there's still airtime in the back rows. That turnaround right after has crazy laterals going into and out of it. Following the turnaround is an intense helix, and then a magnum hill, and another intense helix. That pretty much concludes all the good elements on this ride, but they're able to push this ride high in my rankings. In 6th place is Rip Ride Rocket at Universal Studios Florida. Here's another ride that kind of dies down in the second half. It doesn't die down as much, but those moments are way less memorable than the first half. It does have that inclined helix and a couple good airtime pops. The first half, however, is filled with great moments. The non-inverting loop has good positives and airtime. As redundant as the brake runs are, the pops of airtime going into them are very good. and that helix in the buildings is very intense. Overall, this ride gets too much hate, but I can see why it's getting torn down. Entering the top 5 is Expedition Everest at Animal Kingdom. This ride sets a perfect example of what a Disney coaster should be. It's for families, but it has enough thrilling elements to please adults on their own. It also has a great original story to follow throughout the experience. That's all I really have to say. Taking the 4th spot is Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind at Epcot. I actually had to swap the places of this ride and Expedition Everest because I couldn't remember what I liked about that ride more. This ride has more thrilling elements like some crazy switchback turns and the backwards launch. It's also using characters from the MCU, of which I'm a big fan, so I'm even more invested in the story. It's everything Expedition Everest is, but better. Taking the bronze medal is Incredible Hulk at Islands of Adventure. This ride is a stream of some of the most intense elements I've ever experienced until the mid-course. It does die down quite a bit, but that doesn't undermine the insanity from earlier in the ride. That launch is quite punchy for being on an incline. That zero G roll, cobra roll, and first corkscrew are filled with insane laterals. The rest of the ride in the first half is all intense positives. It's the first half of this ride that elevates the whole experience for me. Taking the silver medal is Renegade at Valley Fair. Aside from its roughness and the terrible seatbelts, I can't name any flaws with this ride. There's airtime in nearly every element. The turnarounds are profiled in a way to give a pop of ejector airtime either going into or out of them. Sometimes it does both. Every straight airtime hill on this ride is accompanied by a low twist to give a touch of laterals. This ride really sneaks airtime and laterals into every spot possible. Taking the gold medal is Velocicoaster at Islands of Adventure. This is just a perfect roller coaster. I love the story that was set up during the queue. I love all the sneaky forces this ride provides. I love all the inversions on this ride. The first 2 provide quick airtime pops, the stall being flat makes it have great hang time, and the Mosasaurus roll is the Mosasaurus roll. The airtime on the top hat and wave turn in particular is very strong. There are no flaws on this ride whatsoever. That will conclude it for this video. Since I didn't have that many pre-enthusiast credits, I knew that this would be an easy video. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.